know what it's like to feel power? I do. I have the power. I am Eric Bischoff. I'm building the greatest empire.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the final edition of nWo Monday Nitro before Livewire proudly presents its biggest pay-per-view of all time, BattleMania. I am Joey Styles, and we are going to run down the BattleMania card for you later on tonight. But first, we're going to go ahead and kick things off with some wrestling. Six-man tag team action. The following contest is a six-man tag team match and is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, they are Billy Kidman, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko. They are Limitless. And their opponents, they are the team of Jerry Lynn, Vampiro, and Doink, the Dark Carnival. We see the Dark Carnival is setting up, and Limitless is ready, but we see that Jerry Lynn storms ahead of him because he's the one that cost him those tag titles, and you know that he's going to prove himself here in the six-man tag. Ding, ding, ding. And the match starts, and Jerry Lynn is starting off with Dean Malenko, and he is just on the aggressive here, taking it to Dean. He's really laying in those rights and lefts. He's got him down on the ground, and he is beating him down. Normally, Jerry Lynn is very more technical class, but this time he is just in an all-out fight with Limitless here. And Dean Malenko rolls out, and he tags into Perry Saturn. As he tags to Perry Saturn, Jerry Lynn whips him across the ring and goes for that running clothesline, but he moves out the way. As Saturn moves out the way, he picks him up and hits a gnarly T-bone suplex. He hits that T-bone suplex on Jerry Lynn, goes for the cover. 1, 2, but Jerry Lynn kicks out. As Jerry Lynn kicks out, Perry Saturn tags out to Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman hits that diving leg drop right off the top rope. And after he hits that diving leg drop, he's got Jerry Lynn set up, and he's got him in the surfboard stretch. As he's got him in the surfboard stretch, will Jerry Lynn tap out? We'll have to find out after this commercial break. And when we come back, we see that Jerry Lynn was out of it, and he's now got Billy Kidman in an abdominal stretch. He has got him in the abdominal stretch, and Jerry Lynn has got him in it. Vampiro and Doink are looking for the tag, but he's telling him to shove off because he's apparently got it on his own. But as he's telling him to shove off, Kidman's able to hip toss him over his shoulder, and he gets the hip toss on Jerry Lynn. As Jerry Lynn gets up, Kidman hits him with the first drop kick. Then he hits him with the second drop kick. Then he whips him into the corner. He runs and hits that diving monkey flip onto Jerry Lynn. He tags into Perry Saturn. As he tags into Perry Saturn, Perry climbs to the top rope and hits that Saturn elbow. He hit the Saturn elbow on Jerry Lynn. Then he goes to tag in Dean Malenko. And as Jerry Lynn stutters up, they hit the total elimination on Jerry Lynn. As they hit the total elimination, we just see Vampiro and Doink on the apron as they're looking at Jerry Lynn. And Dean Malenko goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here are your winners, Limitless. And we see as Limitless raises their hands, and we just see Vampiro and Doink as they're upset. Limitless rolls out to the ring celebrating their big six-man tag win. And as they're celebrating, we see as Vampiro and Doink get in, and they stare at Jerry Lynn disappointed. Vampiro picks Jerry Lynn up by his hair, and he plants him with the nail in the coffin. As he hits him with the nail in the coffin, Doink climbs to the top rope and hits that whoopee cushion senton right on Jerry Lynn. And as they do that, they grab the contract out of that present that Doink always has, and they rip the contract over Jerry Lynn. It looks like Jerry Lynn is no longer a part of the Dark Carnival. And we see as they walk away, and Jerry Lynn is just left there as we cut to commercial break. And when we come back from commercial break, we see the Dudleys as they've got a cameraman with them as they barge into Eric Bischoff's office. And we see Bischoff looking at him. Hey, what are you guys doing in here? You guys aren't supposed to be in here. What do you want with me? Bischoff, listen up. Me and Devon, we won last week and we are the #1 contenders for those live wire tag team titles. Yeah, I know, Bubba, but what does that have to do with me? I gotta get ready for BattleMania and I've gotta get the nWo prepped. I mean, what in the world could you possibly want? Listen, after what the Dark Carnival did and what everybody else has been trying to do in this tag division, I don't want to get screwed out of our title match at BattleMania due to some shenanigans, okay? So Devon and I were talking, and we want the Road Warriors and those live wire tag titles in a TLC match. Talk to him, Devon. You see, Bischoff, me and my brother, we have been through hell and high water in all of the FWA and the FWL. And you want to know something? We deserve to prove why we are the best tag team on the planet. And the only way we can do that is to make sure that ain't nobody can get in the way of the Dudleys. Oh, my brother, testify. All right, I hear you guys, and you want to know what? BattleMania could use some tables, ladders, and chairs. You guys are on. You've got your match. And we see as the Dudleys celebrate and high five and walk out. It looks like now the Road Warriors and the Dudleys are going to be going at it in tables, ladders, and chairs at BattleMania. But folks, when we come back, we are going to hear from Mean Gene Okerlund as he's got Dusty Rhodes standing by as we cut to commercial break. And we come back, we see Gene Okerlund standing by. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And we see as Dusty Rhodes walks in and joins him. So, Dusty, I know tonight you're in the main event against the nWo once again. I've been informed that you have some mystery partners tonight to take out the nWo once and for all. That's right, Mean Gene. You see, Daddy, with Bret Hart taking on the World Championship match at BattleMania, and with guys like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg taking out some of the other nWo wannabes, it's time for the American Dream to clean up the riffraff of the nWo, Daddy. So tonight, I made a couple of phone calls to some friends I knew from back in the day, and in the main event tonight, Hennig, Rude, American Males. You really think that you're nWo? Well, tonight, you're just gonna be a pile of trash laying on the ground as the American Dream whoops your asses from pillar to posts and make sure that none of you jabronis are gonna mess with BattleMania, Daddy. You hear me, Gene? I hear you, Dusty. So what you're telling me is tonight you've made some phone calls and you're gonna take out the nWo once and for all right here tonight? That's exactly right, Baldy. And tonight, the American Dream is whooping all the nWo's asses, baby. And that's why they call me the American Dream, Daddy. And we see as the Dream pulls off. Well, Joey, you heard it here. It looks like Dusty's made some calls, and tonight's blockbuster main event is sure to be one you're not going to miss, Joey. Back to you. Well, thank you, Mean Gene. And coming up next, folks, we are going to have some singles action coming your way next as we cut to commercial break. And when we come back, the following contest is a singles match and is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, being accompanied by William Regal, he is Tajiri. And his opponent, he is the Insane Luchador, Super Crazy! And we know the history between these two back in the ECW days, and we know this match is sure to be a barn burner. Ding, ding, ding. And just as I suspected, this match starts off hot and heavy with these two showcasing their classic styles as only they can. And we've seen it all as we see the double fist drop and the double handspring right into facing off each other. And the fans are going crazy as they know that these two are putting on a hell of a show. And we see as Regal's trying to get in the ear of Tajiri That's what causes the distraction as Super Crazy goes to drop kick Tajiri, but he moves and he drop kicks William Regal off the apron instead. As he drop kicks Regal off the apron, Tajiri hits him to the outside and he locks in the tarantula. He's got that tarantula submission locked in on Super Crazy as the ref counts up to 4. As Tajiri lets it go, Super Crazy's down on the outside and we see William Regal pulls out those brass knucks and he's looking to hit Super Crazy, but Super Crazy moves out of the way and Regal misses the punch and he rolls William Regal in. And as he rolls him in, Super Crazy goes for the springboard Hurricane Rana on Tajiri. And as he hits him, he Hurricanranas Tajiri right onto Regal. He Hurricanranas him right onto Regal. As both of them are down and stumbling, we see Super Crazy clapping as both men are up. As both men are up, Super Crazy goes for a clothesline, but Tajiri ducks, and Tajiri turns around to do the green mist, but Super Crazy moves, and Tajiri hits the mist on Regal. He hits the mist on Regal, and he can't believe it. As he hits that mist on Regal, we see Super Crazy pick him up with the Michinoku driver on Tajiri. Then he goes to the corner, and he hits the triple jump moonsault on Tajiri, and he goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, Super Crazy! And we see as Super Crazy celebrates with the big win. Regal and Tajiri are once again furious because their plans have been foiled. But folks, don't go anywhere, because coming up next, we are going to hear from Al Snow. Oh Lord, I don't even know what this is about. We're going to hear from Al Snow, folks, coming up next as we cut to commercial break. And when we come back,
what does everybody want?
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Al Snow. And we see as Al Snow makes his way down to the ring with his head and a microphone in hand. Well, you know, I've been trying to find out how I can keep my spot here on Livewire with the shakeup coming up. And you know, Head and I have been talking, and I've realized that I just need to get the biggest win of my career to prove to Eric Bischoff and the nWo why Al Snow and Head deserve to stay here on Livewire with the shakeup. So we're out here now, and we're having an open challenge to anyone in the back who thinks that they can take on me and Head in a no-holds-barred match. So whoever wants to come on out, come on and take out the craziest man in professional wrestling. Well, who's it going to be? Is there anybody that's going to answer the challenge of Al Snow? Oh, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this match is now scheduled for one fall. Already in the ring, Al Snow and his opponent making his way down to the ring, Jake the Snake Roberts. And we see as Jake rolls in with the bag and the snake. Ding, ding, ding. Al Snow charges him with the head, but Jake the Snake Roberts ducks it, kicks Al Snow in the gut. He grabs his head, and he grabs the mannequin head, and Jake Roberts just plants Al with a double DDT. He DDTs both the mannequin head and the Al Snow at the same time. As he DDTs them both, Jake Roberts looks at the referee. He flips Al Snow and covers him. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Well, folks, here is your winner, Jake the Snake Roberts. And we see as he DDTs him, Jake goes over to the snake. He pulls the snake out of the bag, and he covers Al Snow and the mannequin head with it. As Jake walks away laughing menacingly, as Al Snow wakes up and freaks out to the snake on his head. What does this mean for Al Snow and Jake's futures? We'll have to find out after the shakeup, folks, because coming up next, we are going to hear from Mean Gene and Sid Vicious as we cut to commercial break. And when we come back from commercial break, we see Gene Okerlund standing by with Sid Vicious backstage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome at this time the Millennium Man himself, the master and the ruler of the world, Sid Vicious. So Sid, this Saturday night, you are taking on Mike Awesome and Bam Bam Bigelow in a three-way dance to prove who is the best big man in all of Livewire. That's right, Gene. And you want to know something? The master and the ruler of the world is not only that, but he is the best big man in Livewire wrestling. Me and Mike Awesome could have been the future of the tag team division, but he wanted to separate his ways after the new school fell apart. And bam, bam, you're just a big old oaf that I'm in a powerbomb right through this ring. So when Sid Vicious walks into BattleMania, I'm gonna prove to you fans and to Mike and to Bigelow why Sid Vicious is the master of the powerbomb and why I will be the next world champion once I take out Mike Awesome and Bam Bam Bigelow. So what you're saying, Sid, is after BattleMania, if you become victorious, you're going after the world title? If I become victorious, Gene, do you know I am half the man that you are, and you have half the brain that I do. But you want to know something? I will walk away as the victor this Saturday, and I will prove whether it's Brett, whether it's Lance, whether it's Scott, I am next in line for that world title. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first, folks. Sid Vicious has made it clear that after BattleMania, he's got his sights set on the World Championship. Joey, back to you. Well, will Sid be able to prove it? We'll have to find out Saturday night at BattleMania. But coming up next, we are going to see as RVD takes on William Regal next as we cut to commercial break. And when we come back, the following contest is a singles match and is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, making his way down to the ring, accompanied by Tajiri, he is Lord William Regal. And we see as Regal's making his way, Tajiri's still trying to wipe the mist off of his face as Regal is just trying to get through. And his opponent, being accompanied by Bill Alfonso, he is Mr. Livewire Wrestling, Rob Van Dam. And we see as RVD rolls into the ring. Ding, ding, ding. As RVD is warming up in the corner, we see Regal look at Tajiri, and he tells him, Tajiri, do not interfere whatsoever. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to wipe the floor with this former world's champion and prove to you how wrestling is supposed to be. And as Regal turns around, he gets hit with the Van Daminator. The Van Daminator kick by RVD plants him. And as he plants him, RVD runs to the other side and hits the Rolling Thunder on William Regal. As he hits the Rolling Thunder on William Regal, Regal powders to the center of the ring, and RVD climbs to the top rope. And as Bill Alfonso's blowing his whistle, he looks at the crowd and goes, RVD! And he hits the 5-star frog splash on William Regal and goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your winners, Rob Van Dam, and with his manager, Bill Alfonso. And we see as RVD poses with Bill Alfonso, Tajiri slides in and is still trying to clean up the face of Tajiri. But folks, don't go anywhere, because coming up next, we are going to hear from Steve Corino as he talks about his match this Saturday with Shane Douglas. As we cut to commercial break. And we come back, we have a video package of Steve Corino where he's out training at his hotel room getting ready for Shane Douglas. You know, as the king of old school, I am here getting ready for BattleMania, training my heart out, because as I reflect on my year here at Livewire Wrestling, I've realized that I've been held back since day one. I thought listening to Shane would get me to some championship gold, and that never happened. Then I thought being under Lance Storm, maybe that would help Steve Corino, but that didn't happen either. And then I lost my job, and then I was brought back to Livewire. And as I reflect on all of this, what I've realized is the new school was my downfall. And that is why I'm bringing back the king of old school. And Shane Douglas, this Saturday night at BattleMania, in our dog collar match, I'm going to prove without a shadow of a doubt why I am the future of live wire wrestling. Because I'm not just going to beat you and get all the vindication that I so rightfully deserve. I'm going to prove to the whole live wire roster why Steve Corino ain't nothing to mess with. And I'm going to prove to the nWo why they better be worried after I beat you to a bloody pulp. Because after BattleMania, I don't give a damn what Sid Vicious said. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I am going after the world title, and Steve Corino is going to prove why he is the king of old school and why I am the future of live wire wrestling. Wow, folks, well, we can tell Steve Corino's been watching the program while studying, and he said himself that he's got his eyes set on that world title after BattleMania. But, folks, we're not going to know what happens until BattleMania happens this Saturday night, February 2nd, only on pay-per-view. But, folks, coming up next is our main event of the evening as the nWo is taking on Dusty Rhodes and his mystery partners. Who are they going to be? Well, we're going to find out next as we cut to commercial break. And when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is an 8-man tag team match and is your main event of the evening. Introducing first, they are Ravishingly Perfect Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude, along with Buff Bagwell and Scotty Riggs, the American Fails. And we see as all four men make their way down to the ring, slapping trash out of their face as they are just getting barraged with it by the crowd. And their opponents, introducing first...
He's the American Dream.
He is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And we see as Dusty Rhodes comes out with a microphone in hand, dressed up in his gear. That's right, nWo. You really want to know who I called to give you an ass whooping of a lifetime here tonight on the main event of Nitro, Daddy? Well, these men I've called, I've been up and down the roads with, and I've had history with all of them, whether they've been on my side, Daddy, or I've been against them. These men I know are true-hearted warriors, and tonight they're going to stand by my side as we take you punks out one by one. And let me introduce y'all to the first man that I called. No way! No way did he call this man. Oh my gosh! Introducing his first partner from Amarillo, Texas. He is the living legend, Terry Funk! And we see as Terry Funk comes out with that towel, waving to the crowd and high-fiving Dusty. Oh my god, the nWo can't believe it. And Dusty brings the mic up to his mouth. And that's not all, Daddy. You thought Terry Funk, baby, was the only man I called? It's time that we hit you guys with some rock and roll. Oh my goodness. And their final partners, they are Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton, the Rock and Roll Express. And we see as Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson are joined alongside Dusty and Terry, and they swarm the ring as the nWo powder out, and all four legends are standing in the ring as the fans cannot believe that they're seeing all these legends on their screen. Will the referee be able to get this all handled? We'll have to find out, folks, because we've got one more commercial break. But when we come back, we are sticking with this main event until the very end as we cut to our final commercial break. And when we come back, the bell is rung, and it's Terry Funk starting off with Kurt Hennig. And the fans are just chanting, Funker, Funker, Funker. They can't believe that all these legends are here on the final Nitro before BattleMania, because you truly never know what can happen on Nitro. And as Terry Funk and Kurt Hennig lock up, Terry Funk throws him into the corner, and Kurt Hennig can't believe it as Terry Funk charges him and hits him with the clothesline. And he starts hitting him with those big Terry Funk lefts. He's hitting him with those big left-hand punches. and he goes to whip him across the ring. As he whips him across the ring, Curt Hennig takes that famous Curt Hennig bump out of the corner, and he crawls over to his corner, and he tags in Scotty Riggs. As he tags in Scotty Riggs, Terry Funk tags in Ricky Morton, and we see as Ricky starts going to town on Scotty Riggs. He's hitting him with an arm drag. He hits him with a second arm drag, and he hits that famous drop kick on Scotty Riggs. And as he's got Scotty Riggs in a headlock, we see Riggs as he pulls the hair, and the heels get the advantage in the corner as he tags out to Buff, and the American males are now working over Ricky Morton. As they're working him over, we hear the fans chanting, "Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll." And as this is going on, we see Rick Rude and Curt Hennig drop off the aprons, and they go to the other side, and they start fighting with Dusty and Terry. They're fighting with Dusty and Terry on the outside because the NWO never play fair. And as they're doing that, Robert Gibson gets in to try and stop the 2-on-1, but the referee's telling him he's not the legal man. As he's telling him that, we see Scotty Riggs as he sets up Ricky Morton for that suplex crossbody combo that the American males do. But as Buff gets to the top rope, he jumps off that crossbody, but Ricky reverses, and Buff Bagwell crashes and burns. As he crashes and burns, Ricky Morton goes underneath the legs of Scotty Riggs and gets the hot tag to Robert Gibson. Robert Gibson comes in like a house of fire, and the Rock and Roll Express just start taking it to the American males. As they're taking it to the American males, we see as they now got Scotty Riggs set up for their own tag team finisher, the double rocker dropper. But as they're setting him up for it, Rick Rude gets on the apron and tosses Ricky Morton off the top rope. As he does that, Scotty Riggs rakes the eyes of Robert Gibson. As he rakes the eyes, Buff Bagwell climbs to the top rope in all the chaos, and he hits the blockbuster on Robert Gibson. As he hits the blockbuster, all the baby faces are distracted with the NWO, and Scotty Riggs goes for the cover. Not this way, not this way. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here are your winners, the New World Order. And we see as the American males celebrate, they start taking it to Robert Gibson. They're beating him down and busting him wide open. As they're busting wide open, we see Rick Rude and Dusty are on the outside, and Dusty's now busted open as Rick Rude pulls out a chain and starts beating Dusty with it. As he's beating Dusty with it, we see that Curt Hennig's got the branding iron on Terry Funk's, and he's just choking out Terry Funk on the outside. It is utter chaos as the NWO are just beating down these legends, as all the other baby faces, they're getting ready for BattleMania, so there's nobody here, and they are just beating them down. As they're beating the legends down, they all slide and impose, showing that the New World Order truly holds all the power. Will the NWO hold all the gold after this Saturday night? There's only one way to find out, folks, and that's ordering BattleMania live on pay-per-view. Good night, and we'll see you this Saturday night for the biggest show of the year, BattleMania.
This has been an FWA Network Podcast Production.